Right now, in a guarded compound in the West Bank, 5 red cows from Texas are being watched 24/7. Not because they're valuable livestock. Because some believe they could trigger the end of days. This isn't just religious extremism. The U.S. Congress just passed a resolution about these animals. Temple activists have architectural plans ready. And 3 world religions are watching nervously. Why do ancient cattle matter to modern geopolitics? The answer involves a 2,000-year-old prophecy, a sacred site claimed by 3 faiths, and preparations that could change the Middle East forever. This is the third temple prophecy. It starts with one of the strangest commandments in the Hebrew Bible. Numbers chapter 19. God commands Moses to find a perfectly red heifer, unblemished, never yoked, without a single hair of another color. Burn it completely. Mix the ashes with water. Only then can priests be purified to serve in the temple. The first temple, built by Solomon in 957 BCE, stood for 370 years before Babylon destroyed it. The second temple rose from the ruins, expanded gloriously by Herod, until Rome burned it to the ground in 70 CE. For 2,000 years, no temple, no sacrifice, no red heifer, until now. According to Jewish tradition, only 9 red heifers have ever existed in all of human history. The Talmud teaches that the 10th red heifer will appear in the days of the Messiah. And right now, temple activists believe they have found candidates. In 2022, 5 red heifers were flown from Texas to Israel. Not by accident. Christian Zionist ranchers had been breeding them specifically for this purpose. Organizations like the Temple Institute had been searching for decades. These cows were raised with one goal, to meet the biblical requirements for temple sacrifice. For 30 years, the Temple Institute in Jerusalem has been preparing. They've reconstructed the golden menorah, woven priestly garments from ancient specifications, and created architectural plans for the third temple. They've even conducted practice sacrifices in the Sumerian mountains. Everything is ready, except the ashes. On October 31, 2025, the U.S. House of Representatives passed Resolution 852, reaffirming Israeli sovereignty over the entire Temple Mount. Speaker Mike Johnson held prayer events about the prophecy. Christian Zionist organizations mobilized politically. This isn't happening in the shadows, it's mainstream American policy. But here's the problem. The third temple can't just be built anywhere. According to prophecy and Jewish law, it must stand exactly where the first and second temples stood. On the Temple Mount, where the Dome of the Rock has stood for 1,300 years. Islam's third holiest site. 37 acres. 3 religions. Jews revere it as the site where Abraham offered Isaac, where Solomon built the temple, where God's presence dwelled. Muslims honor it as Al-Aqsa, where Muhammad ascended to heaven. Christians see it as the location of Jesus' teachings and the prophesied site of end-times events. The world's most contested real estate. For temple movement activists, rebuilding is a divine commandment. They cite prophecies from Ezekiel describing the third temple in exact detail. They argue Jewish sovereignty over Jerusalem means the right to worship at their holiest site. They see the red heifers as a providential sign that the time has come. Many evangelical Christians see it differently but with equal urgency. They believe the third temple must be built before the second coming of Christ. Some interpret it as the location where the Antichrist will declare himself God. The red heifer is a prophetic sign, a countdown to the end times. That's why American churches are funding the effort. Muslim leaders call it a red line. The Jordanian Waqf, which administers the site, warns that any attempt to remove Islamic structures would be opening Pandora's box. Hamas framed the October 7th attack as defense of Al-Aqsa. This isn't theoretical, it's a trigger for war. Many Jews oppose the temple movement entirely. Israel's chief rabbinate prohibits Jews from ascending the Temple Mount, teaching that the Messiah must come first before any temple can be built. They warn that forcing prophecy is spiritually dangerous and politically catastrophic. This is not a unified Jewish position, it's a minority movement with outsized attention. For decades, an uneasy compromise has held. Muslims pray on the Temple Mount. Jews pray at the Western Wall below. Non-Muslims can visit the compound but cannot pray there. Israel controls security, Jordan manages religious affairs. It's imperfect, fragile, and has prevented war. But the status quo depends on all sides restraining their maximalists. Even if politics allowed it, archaeologists disagree on where the temple actually stood. Some place the Holy of Holies directly under the dome of the rock. Others argue it was north of the dome, meaning a temple could theoretically coexist with the Islamic structures. But no excavation is allowed. The ground itself is too sacred, and too explosive, to dig. The red heifers are real. The preparations are underway. The political support is growing. But so is the opposition. Some believers see prophecy unfolding. Security experts see disaster approaching. And the question remains, can ancient prophecy and modern politics coexist at the world's most volatile 37 acres? Or is collision inevitable? What do you think? Could this prophecy become reality in our lifetime? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want to understand more biblical prophecies colliding with current events, check out our episode on the Antichrist and Babylon the Great. Subscribe for more investigations where ancient texts meet modern headlines.